And I had a show all produced last night, and I went through all the people that I'd met. Well, not all, but the high points and the high points of the agenda, and summarized all the talks. And it was about 20 minutes of really, really boring. And so today I got up and went to the C-level breakfast, which is one of the big reasons I go to nemoa, is because I get to meet the guys the people who really run the catalogs and agencies that are here, and it's really enlightening. And people shared about the difficulty they've had in coming back to the getting their employees back to the office. Well, I'll give you that summary in a second. Before I do that, I was looking around for something interesting to start the show with, as always, and I ran across this actually it's a movie that was shown in 1940 to make people aware of, and I don't know, I guess it was shown in movie theaters, because in 1940 television wasn't really widely seen, I think. So, but it was produced by the Bell System, which at the time was this big monopoly, and I think it's really appropriate. It was appropriate for the way the CEO breakfast came down, and I think it's appropriate for a perspective on the world. And so here we go. Let's get over to that over here. When the dial comes to town.
Here's a paper if you want it, Dad.
Good. I was wondering where that doggone kid was.
Where's Mom, Jeannie?
Starting supper. I'm going to help her as soon as I finish this algebra problem.
Oh, Jenny, you know what it says here? They're going to take out all our phones and put in them kind with dials on them.
Oh, Gramps, that's yummy. Does it say how soon?
A few weeks, I guess.
That'll be just super.
Oh, shucks.
What'd you say, Gramps?
I said, oh, shucks. As soon as a man gets used to one thing, by golly, somebody wants to take it away from him.
But, Gramps, we've had that old phone since, well, I bet since Daddy was a boy. We ought to be glad to have modern telephones.
Oh, shucks. You young'uns are never satisfied these days. Folks are getting more worried about being modern than they are over the 3 square meals. I'm going to call up Ed Huckster there and find out what he thinks about all this business.
Well, that's as far as I got. Interesting cultural picture. Grandpa living with the kids, and traditional husband coming home from work. And this was dial phones. And if the granddaughter is 18, then she'd be 100 years old this year in real life. Just to put it in perspective, and the Gramps is long gone, and the dad is probably long gone. All the people in, that's what I enjoy about old movies. I think all the people that are in this are gone. They made their mark and moved on. So it gives you some perspective, I think, on life and the world, and so anyway, we had the CEO breakfast at nemoa, and it was fun. But a lot of the challenges that people are facing, they talked about how in their company through nemoa, the pickers and packers and the people running the warehouse, they had to come in and they had to wear masks and they had to do all kinds of compliance issues, and one of the companies, the management team served lunch, and some people were very appreciative and some people were resentful, and they said, if you think a slice of pizza is going to solve, make us feel better, you're sadly mistaken. And we talked about health insurance issues and Zoom fatigue, and just a wide range of topics, as well as CCPA and GDPR and compliance and Americans with Disabilities website compliance and the letters people are getting, and just all kinds of things. And at the end, I raised my hand. I said, this. If you're new here, if you're new at this breakfast, I said it's always like this. There's always huge issues that we're all dealing with, and we think, it's the end of the world probably, and it may well be. You don't know. But I said I've been at a dozen of these or so, and maybe more, and here we are still. We're still plugging on. And Alan, who sat next to me after, actually said, people are looking for merchandise. They're looking for customer experiences. They're looking for what you offer. As bad as everything is, if you keep your focus on your customers and keeping them happy, they're gonna figure out a way, and we're gonna figure out a way. And it was just, there was a sort of level of optimism, and there was a sort of level of pessimism, and and when you watch this movie from the Bell system, the grandpa is upset because now he's going to have to remember the phone numbers, and the granddaughter is all excited about it, that she can dial direct to her friends. And in those days, there was one phone on the wall. I remember I just disconnected my original phone number that I had as a boy. We had a party line on the street where I lived. It was fairly remote. Our driveway was about a mile away. Our mailbox was about a mile away. And if it rang a certain way, I don't remember what ring it was. I think it was 2 short rings together. That was a call for us. And if it rang a different way, then it was a call for the neighbors. And every now and then you'd want to make a phone call, and you'd pick up the receiver, and there'd be somebody talking on it, and that would be the neighbors talking to the phone. And so you just shared the phone line. And our original number, Forrest, 407-2524. We had that phone number, and then we moved to another house, and we still were in the same area, so we kept the phone number. Then we moved again, and we were still in the same area, so we kept the phone number. And then my parents lived there for about 50 years, and we built in the back 40. And so when we sold their home, we kept the phone number. And so up until I think it's only been a few months, 6 months, we had the same phone number, my original phone number. So I'm the grandpa now. I'm the grandpa, and and facing the challenges of smartphones, and this time at Nemoa it was paperless. But I want to encourage you all that as challenging as it was for Grandpa to use a dial phone, because you say, well, dial, we talk about dial tone, we talk about dialing a number. Our kids don't know what a dial is. They've never seen a dial phone. I listened to a talk by a guy who sort of accidentally was in the room and at Bell Labs, and he showed up for a meeting and was told that the entire East Coast power grid had been taken down, and all the phone systems were destroyed or something, all the switching, and they were going to have to invent or recreate the phone system from scratch in the next couple weeks. And what would they do differently? What changes would they make to the phones? And they spent the morning thinking about that. And then I don't know that somewhere along the way someone admitted that no, that the East Coast hadn't been wiped out, but they did spend the day redeveloping the phone, and one thing they developed was the touch-tone phone, which paved the way to to a cellular network and to the smartphones and all sorts of things like that. So every now and then it is good to take a step back and to realize the perspective. I've been in the catalog business for 40 years, and much has changed and much has stayed the same. And so some of the people at Nemoa have been there since the early 80s when I got started, and some of the people were there for the first time. I had a lovely time with a young lady, Emily Becker. I'll mention her name because she just did connect with me, and she's brand new. She's working on her catalog. She got a job with a catalog company, a business to business, and she was at a roundtable yesterday with Nahan, with Mark and Kelly at Nahan, and shared that it was really different. The design she learned in school was RGB, was the video monitor colors, and the catalog production was cyan and magenta, and some colors don't translate. Actually, none translate completely one-to-one, and some of the challenges she's had. And I assured her that, in the old days, we used to do all the color correction, and we used to have all the right lights, and everything try to be all consistent. But then we'd mail it out to somebody who was reading it in their company restroom or something with whatever light there was. And so, not to get too worried about it, especially in B2B. And I said, sometimes you can get print savings if you just if you assure the printer that you're not going to try to make color adjustments. And we had a great time talking about roto and 64-page presses versus what, 24 or 48 or whatever, and signatures and papers challenges. But somebody asked, when are the paper challenges going to be over? And I said, well, the recession will solve it. In the past, that's what happened. I remember years when you couldn't get press time. Donnelly was booked out for the year by July. And if you weren't an existing customer, you weren't getting any press time. There was plenty of paper in that particular issue. But, these issues we've faced, postal increases we've faced, recessions we've faced. And what's fun about nemoa is there's people from each era. And there's the old timers who face these challenges, and they're not the same. Sam and I talked from Colony, and he said, we could use more actual get-togethers of the mailers in the Wisconsin area. So we're going to be working on that. But he said we faced these challenges, but not as many challenges all at the same time, and there may be truth to that. Yeah, but as I said at the CEO breakfast, there's always been challenges. Business is challenged, life is challenged. We're not made for comfort. We're not made for utopia. And so nemoa is a great place to get some perspective. A lot of us have been through it for 40 years, and we're looking forward to keeping on hitting the challenges. I had a great time with Sarah Fletcher, who's one of the people that have been there since the 80s, and we talked about the old ad guys and the cool ad guys, when she was coming up in the industry, and how the cool ad guys were winning all the awards. But when you talk to the client, they weren't driving sales, and the client went back to the old traditional looks and things like that. We exchanged wonderful stories, and so I want to encourage you, if you're new to the direct marketing industry, that it's the best way to find out what's real and what's really going on with your marketing and your advertising. Sarah encouraged me to ask more questions, talk less. But if I ask questions on here, the show stops. So, but I agree with her, and that's going to be one of my challenges for the next year, hopefully, or at least the next few months. That I want a call to action. She said, your show never has a call to action. Well, the call to action is give me a call. I'd love to hear your greatest challenges, especially if you're a member, WDMA. I'm really happy to take calls. We have some great members from not only Wisconsin, but around the country and Canada as well. More members outside of Wisconsin than inside, and we're working on that. But if you have challenges, or if you just want to run something by and get some grandpa perspective, happy to do that. And so I'm easy to find on LinkedIn. And if you're seeing this, you're probably already following me. If you're interested in a particular topic of these videos, it's easier to search YouTube, and they're all available on YouTube. But I found when I can't find it, there's not a really good way to search LinkedIn, to search all my posts. But it is fairly easy to find a topic covered on my YouTube channel, even though there's 1,000 plus. So have a great day. If you're at Nemoa, I hope to see you shortly. This is good. This is a much better. I think this is a much better talk than the one I had posted. But give me a call. Happy to talk, and have a great day. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart.